How's it going, friends? Welcome to the Twin Cities. This show tells the stories of the people we've been lucky enough to help relocate to the Twin Cities and hope hearing directly from them may help you along the same journey. I'm your host, Jesse Lynch. I run the hardest working real estate team in the game. We're here at our office in Northeast Minneapolis. We call it The Shop. I'm joined by my co-host and arguably the best agent on my team, Steve Wilk.
Hello, what's up?
Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you watch. And of course, if you want to work with us, the hardest working real estate team in the game, head over to our website, tothetwincities.com, or shoot us an email directly to info@tothetwincities.com. And I would like to extend my immense gratitude to our general Swiss Army knife of a human, Paul Winkleman, the producer of the show. Yo. Hey, thanks, bud. And today we are joined by our esteemed guests and arguably our favorite clients ever, Aaron and Leanne.
Let's go.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out, you two.
No problem.
Thank you.
It's great to see you.
Thank you very much for coming out. And yeah, I think this is gonna be fun. We're gonna dive into some stuff. Let's go back to if this time did exist. Let's go back to before you moved here, before you were even thinking about moving here.
Okay.
Where were you? Where were you living? What were you doing for work, for life, whatever? What did your life look like before that?
I'd like to hear from Leanne first.
Good old Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Gosh, we were living kind of out in the country there a little bit, but close enough to the city. I was a massage therapist, still am. The lovely local family-owned spa, and then Aaron was an industrial painter. Still is.
doing that too, yeah.
Yes. We have a couple kiddos. And yeah, we really loved it there, but we needed something more. So we started looking on YouTube and found you guys. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say that was probably so part of the motivation for moving up here is my mom lives up here.
Uh-huh.
And it was just like a change of scenery type of thing too.
Yeah.
So for us it was like, okay, it's like familiar enough because you have somebody that you know that lives up here. And it's also not like such a long haul that if you want to go back and visit people, you're like, oh, this is going to be some planning. So it's kind of just a nice middle ground type of deal for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you say
Totally.
you wanted more, like just more action, or like what do you mean by more? More access to things, or
Yeah,
Okay.
more outdoor activities,
Okay.
more just stuff to do around town. I wanted more options with schooling.
yeah.
I wanted to
For
be
your kids, right?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
definitely. I wanted us all to be surrounded by more diversity and yeah, just much more possibility
Yeah.
all around. And then we had also visited Aaron's mom probably like every other month. We would come up here and just fell in love with everything that there was to do, and
Yeah.
yeah, that sparked it.
For sure.
Kind of just were like, we could just stay up here.
Yeah,
Where
really.
does your mom live? St. Paul?
She lives in St. Paul. So she
Okay.
lives like right across the river from downtown St. Paul.
Okay.
So we're kind of up on like the high side of the bluff.
Yeah.
on
She
the other
was
side of
in
the river.
St. Anthony area
Yeah.
though, and that was like beautiful. I loved all the houses, and
Yeah.
the co-op that they have around there is a lot of fun to go to. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it was nice.
I'm
Both
gonna say-
areas are really cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me it's doing stuff.
Yeah.
Because it is like, if I were to describe Cedar Rapids, and it's like it's a utility town, right?
Mm.
So it's like it's just very much like you go to work. There's 5 things you can do. If you don't want to do those 5 things, then I guess you're gonna, at least for me, there's not much else, right? So
Yeah.
the nice thing about being up here, and part of the reason I wanted to do it was just because of the just access to, concerts, sporting events, whatever it might be. That's just
Options in
yeah,
general.
readily
Food option.
available.
We were talking to
Yeah.
people from Cedar Rapids last time Jesse and I did this, and yeah, the Uber Eats came up as
Yeah.
definitely like
They were
one
like,
of the
opening
motivating
Uber Eats
factors.
blew my mind, and I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, I had never considered,
Yeah, one of the running jokes about Cedar Rapids is like, in the food scene is like, well, I guess it's popping when you get a new franchise, and that's about it. Like, like, oh, cool, they opened up another Popeyes. Like, let's go hit this up.
Yeah.
But like, other than that, it's not like, oh, this is some very like niche food that we want to try out. It's just a place.
That's
Sure.
fair.
So you mentioned your mom lived here, and with it being like one of like the motivating factors for moving. Were there any other places you were thinking about moving, or was it just the Twin Cities that you were looking at?
So we were thinking about Duluth too.
Okay.
And so it's kind of funny because I was looking for jobs up in Duluth, and so Cirrus Aircraft is based out of Duluth, and so I was like, oh, this seems like a small place. I don't know if I want to work for a small company. Turns out Cirrus is huge, and the place I work for now is tiny. But yeah,
I was thinking, I'm like, I've heard of Sears for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
so for us, it was like here or Duluth area. Also, same kind of reasons for the Duluth was just like access to more nature things, readily available.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit bigger too. Right? I mean, how many
Yeah.
people are in?
Cedar Rapids is like 300,000 with Cedar Rapids, and there's like Cedar Rapids, Marion, Hiawatha.
Interesting.
They're all kind of interconnected. So I'd say it's about 300,000.
I mean,
yeah.
that's bigger than Duluth, but Duluth
Yeah.
just feels like there's more going on.
Well,
like
I think
Lake Superior.
yeah,
Live,
I'm a big
yeah.
Lake Superior homer. So
Same. Yeah.
North Shore for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you guys head up to Duluth now that you live here?
yeah, so we usually try and make it up once a year. I feel like.
Yeah, we're actually going to the air show next month, so
Oh, right on.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's super exciting. We went last year, and we it was kind of like just us two going on a date, and so this year we're bringing the guys and gonna have a blast.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Minnesota was what,
Yeah.
where you were thinking, and then those were the two. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think we really looked as far as like, oh, we should move to this state or to that state.
We like the Midwest.
Yeah.
We weren't really looking for somewhere where it's like warm all year round, or
Yeah.
yeah. So we kind of just stuck with a lot of Midwest.
Yeah.
I don't think we really did. We talk about Oregon.
We
like-
talked about Oregon for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was
so,
like Oregon. Yep.
Yeah.
that was the conversation on Oregon. So
yeah.
The family thing, definitely. That's such like a huge, in my opinion, that's like a huge pull. If you've
Yeah.
got family in a place, and you end up talking about potential other options and maybe exploring those. But I mean, yeah, from my observations, that typically is like a factor that's
It's way
too
heavier.
strong to
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Sometimes people want to get away from their family.
It's
which
true.
is fun.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
Full disclosure, that's kind of how it became. Like, oh, we should really move up there, and then it's like, okay, so we need boundaries because like, you can come over once a week for this amount of time, like, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
Or at
it's-
least knock on the door.
yeah, relationship's still good to go, but yeah, I definitely changed it up a little bit because it was just like, this is what it's like to be living near mom again.
Yeah.
It's that same. Our other Cedar Rapids friends had the same experience. They moved in with their parents again, and it was like,
Yeah.
we
could
it's
start
not
a-
easy.
Start
for
a
sure.
support group, like from CR back to back to the parents. How did it go for you?
Yeah. Was there, I guess so, safe to say, I guess, why did you choose Twin Cities over Duluth? Or was it just you found a job or something?
I think for at least my mindset was kind of like it's a good midway stop, right?
Yeah.
And like I've always wanted to live in like a bigger metropolitan area,
Yeah.
at least once to be okay. Do I actually like it?
Yeah, you don't want to wonder forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I don't know if I want to try that. Like move up to Duluth and then let's move back to the Twin Cities. Like now I'm even older and this is not my vibe. So I was like, you know what? Let's just do it now because it's kind of on the midway, and then
Yeah.
whatever happens. And so far, yeah, it's been killer. It's been
Well, I
I've
think
definitely enjoyed
the
it.
job, like, availability at least was more like there was a lot more around here.
There's a lot more jobs for sure. I mean, not that
Yeah.
Duluth is nothing, but it's,
Right.
way
Yeah.
smaller.
well, and
Yeah.
especially I think for you. Well, I guess for me, but also for you.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean, better, like, yeah, in regards to,
Well, there's
Yeah.
options.
yeah,
Because like with what I do, it's very much like okay, you do this, and there's not a lot of people that do this, so you're more in demand.
Yeah.
Right. So like when we went up to the air show last year, I didn't know, but Cirrus has all their stuff on all the buildings at that airport. This, that, the other thing. I'm like, dang, okay, well you just own the airport.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, our 2,000 employees between North Dakota and here. And then I went into the hangar, was talking to like one of their like, not what you call them, not a job recruiter, but one of their management people. And they're like, oh, you do this? Yeah, we can't find you guys. So if you do ever get up here, like legitimately call us.
Cool.
So I think
Nice.
for me, it's like a little bit more like if you know, then it's easier to get in. And I guess I don't know about doing the massage therapy thing, but I feel like you've almost
There's a
wanted
lot more
options.
bite in the city, yeah, like a lot more options to choose from.
I would imagine.
With
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
With modality and everything, there's, like spa locations, there's chiropractor offices, and yeah, a few more other sprinkled in throughout, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So one of the things that we talk a lot about is, like when people are talking about their motivations to move to the Twin Cities, it's like the cost of living where they came from to and the quality of life and how those things balance. You guys came from a place that the cost of living is probably lower than the Twin
yeah,
Cities.
yeah.
Was that something that like you consider? Like, was that something that made you nervous, or that how much of that was a conversation?
In a way, I guess it
Yeah.
made me a little nervous.
We
But I'm like, it's
started
just
to
math.
budget, though.
That's
Yeah.
how I'm like, it's just math. Like,
He's
but I-
really good at budgeting, though, so
Yeah.
he started doing that, and then it was like, okay, we can do this, so,
yeah. So to me, I was like, if I can make the math work, then it doesn't, whatever.
yeah.
Sure.
'Cause, I mean, I think that's one thing. Like our friends that have come up and visited us from Iowa, they're like, wait, this is this, and like with the cost of things. I'm like, yeah, but if you like do the math, like, just make sure like you know what your ducks are in a row, and then
Yeah.
just go from there.
Yeah.
I want to say like,
Do you make more money? Mind me asking that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No,
That helps
I-
the math for sure.
Oh, for sure helps the math.
Yeah.
Yeah. The jump was kind of funny. I was like, oh, I want this, and they're like, okay. And I was just like, oh, okay, I guess I'll move up and work for you guys now.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like I make like twice as much. I don't know, do you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I would say
That's pretty
so.
sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nice.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
And
Our mortgage was also
it,
twice as much.
Yeah.
It is now.
So, I mean, but that's okay.
but it does
so.
offset because I feel like it hasn't really been like a thing where I felt like, oh, I had to really like
Pinched or-
downgrade. If anything, I do more stuff now
Mhm.
with the higher cost of living because I make more. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been doing all that, like, oh, I'm going to a concert again or another concert or this sporting event with the Cedar Rapids income. As weird as that sounds with a lower mortgage.
I mean, I've thought about that. Where if you make twice as much money, if your housing cost is twice as much, that still means that you have twice as much extra money.
Yeah.
Additional money beyond that. And while housing might be twice as expensive, like food isn't. It's
Right.
maybe more expensive, but not twice.
And one of the things that we did too is when we got approved for the loan, it was just based off my income.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, sure.
So like, and which was the house in CR was the same thing. So this is kind of one of those things where it's like if you do that, then like when you have two incomes and you're only basing it off of one,
Yeah.
then it also helps because yeah, your bills or your mortgage and stuff jumps, but like you're not jumping it with two incomes, you're just jumping it with one.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So then it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're still on half on paying for everything, which helps.
Totally. Yeah.
Other than financial stuff, was there anything else that you were like nervous about moving to a new place?
I think just, for me it was like just finding a spot you would like, because like living in CR and Leanne grew up in Marion, like know the city, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I wouldn't want to live there, I wouldn't want to live, but I'd live here, right? So like for us, it was like, oh, okay, well, we don't want to like rent for at all if we can, but like very long.
Yeah.
So like making that okay, wherever we're gonna buy at, we want to be there for like a good length of time, and not worry about like, oh, that was a mistake 6 months in.
Yeah, I think that was because I was in Cedar Rapids for 25 years, so
Oh, wow.
I knew like all the different areas and which neighborhoods were pretty awesome to live in. And here you kind of like you have to ask around. You just don't know. I think
You have
that's
to go on
just with
YouTube
moving
and
in
see,
general.
hope that somebody's
Exactly.
explaining it.
Yeah. So that was one thing. I mean,
Yeah, just
What
like fear of
else?
ending up in a place and being like,
Yeah.
oh no,
I regret. Yeah.
I don't want to be here.
Because the thing is too, with how much we visited, my mom up here, like we kind of knew what the vibe of Minneapolis, St. Paul was,
True.
right, and what to expect. So like, oh, there's just going to be a wide range of people. So don't expect to just be like, oh yeah, these are the same people I see every day.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I don't think it was, much of a thing other than like make sure we found a spot that we'd like to stay at for a while.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. did you have an idea of, or even like an ideal, like an image or like a thought of like where you would end up and like what your lifestyle would be, you know?
I don't know about ideal, but I liked Summit a lot, and that
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
where
yeah.
I wanted to be.
That's like
Right.
Leanne's ultimate dream goal is
All the
like
historical
Summit,
homes
Summit and Grand down in that area. She's
Yeah.
like,
Sure.
we'll drive, go and do something. She'll be like, this is it. I'm like, yo,
It's so hard to choose though, because
This is
there's
it.
so many cool neighborhoods around.
Yeah.
So that was like a really tough one that we had to
Yeah.
juggle with, was picking.
And I think that's the one thing that's funny because like we love where we live, but like the more you go out and do stuff, like in Cedar Rapids, there's like 2 neighborhoods, and then it's just like a bunch of newer suburban style housing. So like there's not like the uniqueness. But in the Twin Cities, it's like, oh, you go down here, it's like, oh, these are dope. You go, oh, these are dope, and then you're just
Different
like,
architecture.
you're like, I don't regret the house I bought, but it's like I didn't even know that like these pockets of this style house existed here or here or here, and they're all different, which is really cool.
We did a video recently on a neighborhood called St. Anthony Park, and I mean, I've lived here. I've lived in the Twin Cities since I was in college. I've lived in Minnesota for 30 plus years, and I had never really, I'd been to that area before, but I had never really considered it or like spent any time there really. But now it's like, if I was going to move, that would be one of the first places I would move
And your
to.
short
Love
list,
it.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, because of all the videos I've done, I've definitely like discovered places where I'm like, wow, like this place is sick, and I've lived here my whole life and never knew that it was here.
That's
You
cool.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because one of the places that we'll go hit up, this like a, I don't know what you call it, like a thrifty vintage kind of place. It's called Hunt and Gather.
Oh yeah,
Pretty notorious place.
Yeah.
I don't know what part of the Twin Cities that's in exactly, but like over there,
Southwest.
Yeah.
yeah, there's some dope houses by the lake, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, this is a cool neighborhood too. But like, you wouldn't know it if you just, did a Google search and
Yeah.
hoped
Yeah.
that it would just point it out for you.
Yeah, my girlfriend calls that the place with all the stuff.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool spot over there.
No, it definitely is.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of go back to now you've decided you're going to move
Yeah.
to the Twin Cities, let's say, over even Duluth. Did you, I guess a couple things. Talk us through how it went. Talk us through, like, did you have a strategy? Did one of you, like, take the reins on anything in particular? Or was it just, like, like spraying and just, like, spraying and praying and, like, I don't know, let's start going?
So it's funny because at the time, like, I had Instagram, I didn't mess with it.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever. And so I was just doing the generic Google search
Yeah.
and like Google searching around. And then Leanne was like, oh, let's see what this is and what that is on like YouTube and Instagram. And then that's when she found you guys. And then, you replaced the Netflix, binge watching.
Just
It was
throw
yeah.
it on
Yeah.
here and there and
Yeah.
try to reel them in on it. So, yeah.
I like that. And just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Watch
we
this
just-
for a second.
maybe watch that. Yeah.
It's only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
It
I think
worked.
that's kind of what did it for us is like, we're like, oh, okay, cool. And that actually took a lot of the anxiety out of it in a weird way.
Yeah.
Because it was like, they're like your channel, they were like consumable length, right? It's
Yeah.
not like you were there for 40 minutes just rambling. And I was like, okay, this is enough of a glimpse into this area that I would probably want to check it out.
Yeah.
And so I would say like those were by far like helped, I guess, lower my anxiety down about like, oh, let's not make a mistake buying a house
Yeah.
instead of just looking at like Google Maps.
I can't even imagine. Like Cedar Rapids, I would have no idea. Like I would look on a map and I go, I don't know. Like what is any of this?
Right.
What does any of this feel like? And then you could street view and it's like, maybe you could get a little closer, but it's still like, I don't know. I'm not going to click around on street view for forever.
And that's a relatively small area. I think about
Yeah.
because like moving to Denver, for example,
Yeah.
kind of a similar, more or less size to the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
Straight up, no clue where to even start.
Yeah.
And that's, and it's funny, I actually did the Google Street View.
Yeah.
Like, let's take a walk around the block.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, yeah, so
And then you zoom out and you're like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of blocks.
yeah, yeah. And then I'm just like, I don't know where I am in this Google Map quest anymore. I've taken 4 different turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it definitely didn't help too. Because you don't get a vibe for a neighborhood because you'll just see like some houses together and you'll be like, oh, those are houses. You're not like, oh, okay, this is how the neighborhood is or isn't.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. I mean, so okay, you saw the videos that helped made life easier. What about like who reached out to us and then who was like looking at houses? Was it
Yeah, could you describe
Thank
the
you.
roles you guys like played in the
I think
home search?
Yeah, I think did I contact them
Yeah,
first?
you
Oh yeah, I was on
did.
Instagram.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
Slid into
Yeah,
his DMs.
it was a slid into the DMs moment.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I
You got a
think that
Paul
was-
laugh on that one.
I was gonna say that was one of, yeah, I think like my first like oh hey, this is how you can use social media to get things done. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was me just because I was up here, because at that point I was you were still in CR with the boys, and I was up here living with my mom and then working.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, you're already up there, you might as well just kind of,
Do the footwork and
contact these guys, get everything lined up,
Yeah.
because
Plus, you had a little more free time, I guess.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, and I'm gonna say like, other than that, it was just kind of throw houses at Leanne. I mean, I would say you were the one that was kind of pushing for the neighborhoods,
Yeah.
because you were, more like, oh, this, White Bear Lake was on there for a while,
I was
Oh, I
trying to
remember that,
use-
yeah,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But
I tried to use some of the apps to search around, find
Yeah,
some
which-
houses, but
we didn't realize, and you guys let us know, like, are not up to date.
yeah,
Mm.
they
So-
change pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Now I just look at them because they're funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Good experience.
Yeah. Okay. So it's always kind of interesting to me that pretty much always people have different roles, whether or not they're like, hey, this is what I'm going to do and this is what you're going to do. It's just like what they're naturally doing. Somebody's almost always looking at houses, and somebody's typically looking at neighborhoods, unless like one is just the busiest person and then the other person is not at all. They might just do all the legwork.
We've
And
had a
then-
couple people who we worked with where that was kind of the case.
Yeah, and you're
but-
kind of like, okay, we're doing all this, and then every now and then you bring in the really busy person. You're like, cool, okay, good.
Yeah.
And then like they're gone and they're like out of the picture for a while longer. But yeah, but so you're looking at houses more so.
Yeah, and just like because of being up here and just going around and doing things, going through different neighborhoods by default. Like, oh, I'm driving here. Oh, okay, this is a cool neighborhood.
Yeah.
Or I'm driving here, and then just kind of getting that, I guess you could say, on the ground feel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then because Leanne was back in Iowa, and even though she would come up and visit, hers was just like through the videos of being like, oh, the schools were rated this in this area.
Yeah.
So then I'd check out the houses in that town and have them go look around and just move
Yeah, because I do remember, and I think this is before like we met up for the first time. You would be like, oh, sending me like addresses, and then I would just like drive by with the freaking FaceTime up,
Yeah.
just like creep by a house that was for sale, and just be like, yeah,
Yeah.
don't mind me, just checking out the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So you were in Iowa. You were living with your mom. Did you
Yeah.
guys have a deadline? I can't remember. I know you accepted a job offer the day we met.
Yeah.
So was there a time that you had to be in a place by? I can't remember.
Kind of, sorta,
Yeah.
because so my mom bought the condo that she lives in now, but she was still renting her apartment. So it was like, okay, we'll stay in your apartment until the lease is up. And then with school starting for the boys, it was like, okay, we want to have all these loose ends wrapped up so that it's not like, hey kids, starting school, oh, by the way, we're moving in like
Totally.
6 months into a house.
That's a huge thing for a lot of people with kids. Yeah, definitely want to get that in before school starts because
Yeah.
you don't want to have to pull them out of school to
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
So did that? I mean, was that like a additional pressure on the search?
I
I
would
would
say,
say,
yeah.
and we
Well, I want to say like what added.
we didn't want to stay very long in like an apartment. We had our
Yeah.
2 dogs too that were being boarded, and
You guys
that
had a
was
lot of
just-
moving pieces now
yeah.
that we're talking
just
about
like,
it. I
money's
remember.
bleeding out of us right now. Like, we need
Yeah.
to figure this out. So I
Yeah.
think that kind of pushed it.
Yeah, definitely, because like having the storage units, the dogs boarded. Yeah, it was just like, dude, like if we're gonna be spending all this money, let's just spend it on a house payment, not like, U-Haul storage.
Yeah.
Because I don't really think there was any other pressures. I mean, the only other pressure I can think of is like towards the end of the search, when we knew the neighborhoods we wanted to be in, it was like, because houses sell so fast, it was like, okay, this is the neighborhood we want. So whenever a house pops up, we better be there like
Well,
right now.
Yeah, and at the time, people were like going over the like pricing, the
Still
price.
are,
Yeah,
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
list offers.
Then- well,
super
and even,
competitive.
like-
So yeah, we had to get on that.
Like nutty amounts.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't even remember the offer we put in on that White Bear Lake house,
Yeah.
but it was like, I want to say like 30 or 40K over. And like that
I
house
feel
was
like
like,
it was more, like 50 or something.
yeah, it was something crazy.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
and they didn't do what was it?
they
Like
waived the inspection.
yeah, the inspection.
And I was like, dude, this
They
house was
waived that.
built in like 1890.
Yeah, there's some old
Like,
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, how are you gonna waive an inspection? That's
Like, it was a good
wild.
location, nice house, nice huge backyard, but
Yeah, but I mean, I get what you're saying.
I was almost
just
gonna like
mind-boggling.
try and convince him to waive the inspection too. But
Yeah, and I was like, nah, not today.
Yeah, it's tough. It like there are times where as agents we're like, maybe to get this house you have to waive inspection.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, but it's like that doesn't mean to get a house
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have to waive the inspection. You know, but
What-
this one maybe. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
I didn't expect it on that one just because of how old the house was.
Yeah.
right.
I was like,
If somebody's got enough money, they're not really that worried. You know,
I guess.
I can
Wow.
chuck money at this thing. and fix
Yeah.
whatever. You know.
It is
Yeah.
crazy, yeah, because I don't write a lot of no inspection offers for people, but when I do, it's usually because they're like, well, what's the worst that could, like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
honestly, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice,
yeah,
nice
yeah.
for them, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm sure that's a
it's
nice
not
position to be
yeah,
in.
not a common position
Yeah.
for people to be in.
And whatever, it's measured because it's like, well, couldn't you just take that measured risk and buy a house that needs work and put the same amount of money that you're risking into
yeah,
that? You know?
true.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause yeah, speaking of houses need work, we did look at a group home.
Oh, wow.
Side story. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
In Maplewood.
You
I
were
could-
you were circling that for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did like it, but that seller was like on some just like I had someone back out of financing once, so the next person's gonna get it type of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, hey guy, no, like this is a fresh relationship. I know you've been hurt in the past, but like
Yeah.
we can work through this.
Yeah.
And that one, yeah, that was a fun time because I couldn't figure out what the house was.
Yeah,
'Cause
it was
you could
weird.
tell something was up with it because like the door handles were like not door handles. It was like a pull handle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there was no locks. There was
Sort of
like
commercial.
Yeah.
yeah, but like low budget commercial.
Yeah.
And everything was labeled.
There's a bedroom that had like a
Two-way
like,
mirror.
Yeah, the plexiglass mirror that like
Yeah.
looked over the. It was a pretty normal looking house.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was like a 3-level split in Maplewood, right?
Yeah.
But the
And then-
adjustments they had made were very strange. But yeah,
And like a-
group home for sure.
Yeah, and then it was in like a nice, like quiet, like kind of neighborhood. I assumed it looked that way. So I'm just like,
It's a
what?
nice potential.
What is
house.
this?
Yeah.
And then I was like, dude, it's got to have been like a group home. Like, there's no way you need to label tomato soup in your cupboard unless
Yeah.
people aren't staying here very long.
You're like that. It already has a label. on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay. What other areas were you considering? Like what? Like really? Like what was the short list?
Yeah, walk us through the process of like you dialing down to where you ended up.
So White Bear Lake, Stillwater, those are big ones for.
We wanted to be pretty close to water, which I mean that's pretty easy to do around, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I think for us it was that or St. Paul. I feel like because we looked at
You
some,
were kind of hesitant because you were worried about some of like just neighborhoods and
yeah.
with like city life or
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
just-
what you had like the assumption of.
Yeah, when you get used to space where like no one's near you, because that's what we had in Cedar Rapids,
Yeah.
it's like nice because it's just like, oh, I can just be by myself.
Mm.
And so it was being like, oh, how close do I want to live to people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can touch your house from my house, like, and so for me, I guess that was one of my things where it was like giving up all the yard and space that we had in CR did kind of suck. Now I'm actually glad because taking care of that was like 3 hours on a Saturday
Yeah.
with a riding lawnmower and a push mower.
Now it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're done. It's so nice.
The other day, Leanne mowed the whole neighbor yard because
Oh,
she
really?
didn't know when to stop and she didn't think it would take. She was like, that was too fast. So like I was,
There's no way I'm done.
Mine
yeah,
as well.
legitimate.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, the property line ended like 10 feet ago. She was just like, what? I'm like, the fence. That's where we stop. That's theirs.
All right, that's pretty funny. Any other spots?
I tried to reel you into Northeast.
You did. I think the only thing that stopped us from Northeast was the size of the houses.
Yeah.
Not that we were looking for something gargantuan, but with the 2 boys, and now them like turning into teenagers soon, it was like, oh, okay, we can't be having like a 1.5 story, you know, and hoping to like shove some people in, because we did look at that the White House that you liked a lot, that was really small, that you were like, Stephen was like, hey, this is gonna be like really small, really fast. Like it's cute now and quaint.
You guys were like ducking on the
Yeah.
top floor, but it was so beautiful. I don't know.
And then there
Yeah.
was that
Not for kids, really.
the brown one too that was in Northeast that we looked at, that had the backyard that was like just an overgrown garden type deal. Do you remember the one I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Not really, but yeah. So Northeast was never like really on the table.
It was. We could
second.
have. Yeah, if we could have found a spot,
Yeah.
it would have been.
If the right house was
Location
there.
wise.
Yeah, it was just like everything was a little bit too small, and there didn't really seem to be a way to add space. You know, like
Sure.
oh, we can refinish this and then turn it into a bedroom or just a livable space.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What other places in St. Paul? Like all of St. Paul? Were there any specific neighborhoods that you were keen on?
I think I mean, Leanne is the one. She can talk to this because you nailed down
Can
that
I?
one quick
What do
with
you
Como
mean?
Park area. Like
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about Como Park because I didn't know, and then she was just like started pounding the table for it, like Como Park. No, but for real, Como Park.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know. I just really liked the lake nearby, and then the neighborhood seemed really nice and low key, and yeah.
The park is
so,
beautiful.
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, because the lake, then there's the conservatory, then there's the zoo, and then there's the little like kiddie ride, like amusement park.
Yeah.
Como Town.
And there's the
Como
golf
Zoo.
course. Yeah, it's such
Yeah.
a huge like green space.
Yeah.
And yeah, takes up like half of the actual square footage of Como Park.
Yeah.
And Saint Anthony, definitely that area.
Yeah.
Where else in St. Paul? Can you think of any other?
Off the top of my head, no, because I remember we went out to Coon Rapids because we did check out like the suburb areas.
I looked at Crystal with you, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Right.
went to like one there.
And I'm pretty sure because that
Or
we
you
looked.
did. Oh my gosh, I remember that house.
Yeah, because
We
that was.
really
Tudor.
wanted that one.
Yeah.
In Crystal.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all
You
coming
went
back
back
to me
there
now as I think
twice.
about it.
Yeah.
That was the one where we looked at the house around the corner. It was like the hot seller of the day.
Yeah.
And then you were like, "Go check this out." If you walk around the block, there's one that's been sitting for 20 days. That's
Yeah.
like in the same neighborhood, and you could probably get it way cheaper.
Yeah.
Because I do remember that one. Because
And we came in low, right? And that was it. Like they just wouldn't come low enough, right?
yeah,
Yeah. They
yeah,
were set. And
Yeah, they
then-
kind of were like proud of the house, and they're like, "This is what is worth," you know. Like, all right,
Yeah.
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 It's not
I
what
do
20
remember
days
that
on
'cause I was
market
like,
says, but-
This is an awkward like.
That was a weird one because no other people were like that with their houses. Like
yeah,
they said there's this like person who promised to offer this amount and we're gonna, keep our word with him.
oh, that's right.
No.
Yeah, no, they had like a backup offer or
Oh.
whatever, but it hadn't actually been made yet. Like they didn't
Yeah.
have it in hand. I just kind of was like,
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I do
You
remember
remember
that
that
now.
one?
Yeah, that's all just like a blur of
yeah,
disappointment and excitement all rolled into one just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
3-month time span.
yeah,
Because it was very much like make an offer. Oh yeah, we like your offer, and but
yeah.
because we had that happen with like the one that Steven referenced beforehand, the one that they were like, we really like your guys' offer, and that was in Como Park, and we're send the paperwork over, all this, all that, and then they were like, just kidding,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay.
So yeah, we got a verbal acceptance
Yeah.
via text or phone call from the listing agent. I Probably shouldn't have done this, but I let Aaron and Leanne know that we got a verbal acceptance, and then by the next morning, had not received the signed purchase agreement, and kind of getting frantic, calling, texting this agent. Then found out that the seller had decided another offer had come in a little bit later, and decided to work with that one. So very disappointing news. Like a whirl of excitement and disappointment just in that, 12 hours, as you put it. But
that sucks. I mean, that's like a classic scenario. I think, when it happened, it was like, well, we don't, until we have it signed, we just don't tell people. Maybe we can say, like, sounding pretty good.
Yeah.
That's what he did. He was like, you're 90% there, but there's 10%. And that 10% hit, and it was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because, I'm sure you remember, people want updates, like it's, you're sitting around waiting, you kind of have an idea that you're going to hear at a certain point, but you don't really know until, you get that phone call or text. And it's tough because, if you have information, you want to share it, but you also, this was the worst case scenario. You got someone's hope. I got your hopes up to a pretty insane degree, and then the disappointment came.
Rainbow at the end of it is that
we won at the end, so it's okay.
Because Steven, I was like, major league, this sucks. I'm kind of tired of looking at houses now at this point.
Yeah.
And then, Steven was like, we're gonna get back on the horse and get it done. And the next day we looked at the house that we have now,
Oh, crazy.
and locked that down. So I was just like, dang, dude, Steven MVP out here, just putting the team on his back.
Thanks, dude.
We're not gonna be depressed. We got things to do.
It's just like,
get a house.
it sucks, but it's like, what do you do? Right now, right before this, I submitted that offer that we were talking about, and I feel bad because she was like, we verbally accepted an offer, but we'll wait for yours. And I was like,
oh no,
man,
this
is I'm on
in
the
real
other side.
time. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm on the other side. I'm like, I feel bad for them, but hopefully they didn't tell their clients.
Hopefully
God, but
dude, it's tough. It's real. So we try to make a point now to not to just wait until we have the signed purchase agreement to let anyone know for sure. But okay, so we're talking about the showing process. Remind me again quickly. It was all in person, right? We didn't do any virtual.
We
did a few.
We did one virtual where Jesse went to the house in, what was that,
That's
Robbinsdale? And you took a video for Leanne.
Yeah, well, so it was like you were there though, right?
Oh, that is the house we're talking. Wow,
Yeah,
this
the
is how many houses we
Robbinsdale
looked
house.
at.
Yeah, that's the
That
one.
is the one that they had a tentative offer at
Yeah.
this number, but okay, now it's all coming back together. Yeah.
So like you were there, and it was virtual
Yes.
for you. Okay, I that's how I remembered it, but I thought maybe it was fully virtual, but yeah.
No.
And then you went back. So he went twice to that house.
Yeah,
for us.
Yeah.
I do remember going twice to that house. I don't remember why, but yeah.
Yeah, I
Super
think it was.
cool.
Yeah, because I remember you sending me all the information about all the updates they had done with the pictures of
Yeah.
the siding ripped off and oh, this is a great structural house from its era.
Yeah.
And nothing to worry about. Yeah, I do.
It was a
remember
very
that one.
solid house, but
Yeah.
a couple, it was like a legitimate tutor in Robbinsdale, which there's not very many of.
Sure.
And kind of a unique street of just none of the houses
Yeah.
were the same.
No.
But it was kind of cute, but
It was it was a couple blocks from their downtown Main Street area too.
super close to there. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, and and it had been on the market for so long, so that it was let's try to get it for this, and it just couldn't reach across the aisle.
Because now that I'm remembering, it is legit all coming back
Yeah.
to me. Our offer was only 10 grand lower than what they said they had verbally accepted, pending. It was the same
Was it
situation as
crazy?
ours, which is I have another house I have to get under contract, but our house I think was under contract, or was
Your house
very
was
close.
for sure was under contract, I think, at that
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well if you're just gonna sell it to your buddy, sell it to your buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a crazy one. You ended up where you ended up, and I don't know.
Yeah, that house, I liked the charm of it. I was trying to convince Leanne to let me mount some dead animals on the wall, just to be this is
Definitely.
Really lean into the style.
Yeah, just
Gaston's house.
Yeah.
Beauty and the
Yeah.
Beast.
do you hunt? No, I found these on Facebook Marketplace. Pretty sweet though.
Oh, man.
Do you remember what, like, the house you ultimately got? Of course, you remember the house you ultimately got, but do you remember what the offer was like to get it? Did it feel like a crazy competitive offer? Or?
It felt like a weird competitive offer, if that makes sense. Because it was, man, what we gave them a rent back. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So that was the weird one where it was like, oh wait, you're gonna accept our offer that's not a ton over asking price, and that was a first weekend house too. I remember that. So it was like, oh, we'll go a little bit over your asking price, and we'll give you a rent back for. They wanted it for like 3 months. We gave it to them for like I think a month, something like that. And they're
3
like,
months is a long one.
That's insane. Yeah, that's that's a long.
3 months would be an unusually long rent back. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you know, to the best of your ability, accommodated them, and that was an important enough piece, and you know, it worked.
I think it was most surprising because we were just like, oh, we're not gonna get it, so let's just throw this in and like.
That was my mindset.
Yeah.
Was legitimately like kind of pissed off from the other house the day before.
Yeah, it was still fresh.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, F it, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even care. And then it was like, wait, what? That actually went through and we got
Yeah.
papers to sign?
Yeah,
Like, just to complete one of these, just like,
yeah.
whatever.
Let me lob this in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you remember how many we submitted? Was it in the 5 to 10 range?
Yeah,
like
I
it
feel like it
was-
was because we submitted one on the White Bear Lake house,
Yeah.
submitted one on the group home, submitted one on the Robbinsdale house, submitted the one that Suda got accepted,
Yeah.
4, and then the one that got accepted, 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a healthy. You know, I think probably most people are around that number.
I would say so,
Yeah.
depending on the time of year for sure.
True.
But yeah,
It definitely made me jaded towards house buying, and then everyone else that's bought a house after me. so like my sister who lives in Ames, Iowa still.
Oh, she made it so easy.
She bought
made
a house.
It seem so easy.
She's like, oh, put in an offer, and I was like, you know, just like, yeah, talk to me. Ooh, cool.
Yeah.
If you've having to put in 2 offers, I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's
like,
crazy though. Like, not to interrupt you, but like we talk about this a lot, but like the process can be like incredibly drastically different depending on even in like the Twin Cities, where it's like if you're looking for a condo or like a new build, like, you know, obviously you're making some, I guess like one way to put it is sacrifices in terms of like where you can look, but like that buying experience is like night and day different.
And some people just get lucky.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, honestly, like what you were describing with the house that you ended up getting, like, it wasn't like, I mean, the rent back is kind of its own thing, a little
Yeah.
bit weird, but other than that, it wasn't like super competitive. And
Right.
yeah, that was just sometimes the stars align, I guess, but yeah.
There's also like there's a chance that what if that was the first offer you made, you would have thought, like,
yeah.
I don't think maybe we made a mistake.
Yeah.
You know, because like you hadn't tried to get other ones. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Well,
we
or
talk
it'd
about
have
that
been
a lot
like-
too.
It was like, oh, they were really hyping up how hard this is.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that hard.
Yeah, we like put in like a softball,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
offer, and it got accepted. Yeah,
Yeah.
the first podcast we did, they got their first offer accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh, that's funny.
on their first weekend here.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like, man, that like never happens.
Yeah.
You know, that's a
Seriously.
very rare situation.
They were here on like what we call a recon trip, where they were just like coming from a place they really hadn't been to the Twin Cities, or at least
Okay.
not in a long time, and so yeah, they were kind of just like coming to check it out, kind of like what you guys had done, and a little different though because it's just over the course of one weekend. But yeah, and just like, oh, we might as well check out a few homes as well, and ended up writing an offer and got accepted. So yeah, that is very uncommon.
Yeah.
that
Wow.
part, that like the way that process kind of unfolded, but yeah, no,
But yeah, like you know, she's like, I'm making an offer on a house, and you feel like you're like this like hardened veteran where you're like
Yeah,
so
yeah.
naive, like you have no
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute, kid. Yeah, enjoy,
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
the sunshine. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Yeah, that's
And
very
then-
funny.
Yeah. It was just funny because when she got it accepted, she's like, "Oh man, we put in like 3 offers," and I was just like, "Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Glad you got one accepted.
Yeah.
Barely made it.
Do you, how did you move? You get a pod?
No, we did it the old-fashioned way.
U-Haul? or just
Yeah.
all your stuff. Yeah.
I think this is the last time we'll have buddies helping us move because we're at that point where we're just like, I'd rather pay for like a moving company.
Pizza can only buy you so much friendship. Like it can buy you a lot of friendship, but eventually it runs out. So
Yeah,
all of
especially
our-
trading it for physical.
Dude, I'm too old at this. The risk of injury is the thing. That's why I would politely decline anyone
Like-
asking me to help them move.
like back in CR, we got a group of friends that like spent their childhood moving all over.
Yeah.
So like they get all excited to see how much stuff they can fit in a U-Haul.
Oh, that's
like,
weird.
It's like, yeah, well, if you
Just start
stack,
a moving company.
if you stack these shares like how they shouldn't be stacked, it'll be fine and you can fit more. I'm just like, yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to cash that favor in too many more times.
No, at the end of the day, I think the aquarium like broke us. So
Yeah, I
How
had,
big of an aquarium?
Carrying-
no, it's not the size, it's the weight.
Yeah.
So I had a terrarium that was only in I think it was a 20-gallon tank.
It's
So not a,
those
not a big
terrarium.
fish tank, but like the buddy that built it for me made like a, kind of a cliff area out of straight rock and dirt. Like he was like,
so
this is going to be the
heavy
most organic terrarium
and
in the
awkward.
history of terrariums. That thing was like
heavy and
heavy.
awkward.
Because
Yeah,
one end
it's
was
hard.
super heavy, the other one was super light,
Yeah.
but it was still just super heavy in general, so it was just awkward to carry it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that was, and so I gave that to my mom as a birthday gift.
Like we're not moving it again.
Yeah. I was like, you like that? She's like, it's okay. And I was like, happy birthday.
Now it's thriving. It
Yeah,
looks
she's killing
beautiful,
it. Yeah, she's
so-
very proud of it. So it was like a weird, like white elephant kind of birthday gift that actually I don't feel bad about now because she
Yeah.
likes it. So yeah,
Nice.
Yep.
My wife Sarah went through a aquarium phase. We had a 55-gallon tank in the basement, and she still has the 40-gallon. But yeah, it was about a 2 to 3 year lifespan of her interest in clean. I think it was more just like cleaning it like constantly.
oh yeah.
That's some dedication right there. 3 years.
I think so. We got it.
Yeah.
I got it for her as I think it was a birthday gift the year that we moved into the house. Like a 55-gallon tank. I don't know. It's if you guys like. It's big. It's really big. But yeah, she made it about 3 years, maybe more than that. I don't know. She
She's
hears
like, can I
this,
use
she
this
can
as
correct me,
storage
but
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shelf.
I made it like 6 months, so that's like very impressive.
Do you know how much it costs total your move?
Yeah, I would say I want to say like $2,000 to $3,000 somewhere in that range.
Which like what you U-hauled, so the
Yeah.
U-haul.
And then we rented at U-Haul too with the units, which big beef here with U-Haul. Measurements are just complete trash. Okay, so it'll be like you rent a U-Haul for a 4-bedroom home, or maybe we have too much stuff. But I'm gonna say it's U-Haul's fault.
Yeah.
So you rent U-Haul for a 4-bedroom home, and then you rent storage units for the equivalent of a 4-bedroom home, and your stuff doesn't fit in the storage units. So you have to get more storage units. Yeah. So it's
Definitely
like,
donated some things too, so
Yeah.
that we could part with at least.
But like it fit in the truck, but then
Yes.
not in the storage.
and my math brain was pissed.
Yeah.
'Cause I was just like, dude, like, you can't, like, you can, it's your business, but like, your math sucks. Like, the square footage of the truck should be equal to the square footage of these units I've rented, and it's not.
I mean, that makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And they were climate controlled, which wouldn't do that again, just because we didn't need them to be climate controlled. It was just an ease of convenience, like,
Just more expensive for
yeah,
no reason.
or we can drop it off and drop off the U-Haul, because we got the biggest U-Haul, and dude, that's sketchy. Like, the fact they'll give you that size of equipment with no CDL is mind-boggling, because it's just like,
It's like a 24-footer or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
let a regular person get behind the wheel. Of that
yeah,
thing?
100%, yeah, just like,
you
here
know
are the
you know the
keys.
difference in
It's weight.
it's brakes. It's
Well, yeah.
CDL you need air brakes.
Oh.
Like that's like the biggest difference is if it has air brakes or not.
And I feel like with the CDL too, you can only, like, that's why people can have those giant campers, because they don't weigh a lot.
Yeah.
So it's also based off of weight total.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just that blew my mind when he was just like, yeah, here are the keys to that giant. And I was just like,
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
that's sick. Because if I remember correctly, were you behind me the whole time? I think you were, because I
Yeah.
was like, I'm not going to like hit my blinker, look in whatever mirrors I have, and then just like take a Prius off the road.
Yeah.
So
I feel like we had
Would
a
you like
pretty good
call her and be
plan.
like, I'm trying to get over a lane.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
I was kind of, helping you out there a little
Yeah,
bit.
well, it
but-
just
You went
like-
from Cedar Rapids to the Twin Cities in that truck?
yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden thought it was super cool because he felt like he was a truck driver.
Yeah.
He was
Sure.
all like, "Oh, look, I'm cool. I'm in the front."
You're
of
like
this
white
giant
knuckling it. Like,
Yeah, 100%. Like every gas station, and we only had to stop once, thankfully. But it was like do some reconnaissance. Like
Yeah.
how many semi trucks are in the parking lot? All right, I can navigate this parking lot. Yeah.
You just
That's-
driving by them. Like,
Yeah.
can I pull that off?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Sorry, come and
I'm
go
curious.
today.
So like that total that you said, was that for the boarding the dogs too? Because that, I don't know if I've ever had anyone who's had to board dogs for that amount of time.
I don't know if it was.
I feel okay. Is it a lot to say? Was it like $400 a month
For the dogs?
for the 2 dogs? I
Okay.
think.
Because they were boarded in Iowa still, near where my sister lives.
Iowa prices, that might be okay.
Yeah, especially out in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you got a dog, $50. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, here, take my dog.
no guarantees.
Yeah.
And then we drove all 3 cars up too.
Well, yeah, I forgot
Right?
we had cars we were driving up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't tow one behind the.
No.
Dude, I always look at that.
Yeah,
and
our
go,
buddies.
man, that is scary.
Yeah, if you
Your
can
first time driving a truck and you're also towing your own car behind
Oh,
it.
that would be scary.
you're built
yeah.
differently. If you have the confidence
Yeah.
to just be like, yeah, throw it on there, let's
Yeah.
go.
Or you don't realize how sketchy it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I hate trailers.
We tried it with we had a camper, and
Yeah.
even that, and like, you definitely have to learn how to maneuver that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, the camper down the long driveway, backing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, cool.
It's
Nah,
crazy.
not again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. What was the hardest part of the move? Just getting it all, like, and you kind of DIY, you did it yourself, or
I would say it was the getting all the puzzle pieces to like fit at the right time. Because the house in CR, it was like, hey, contractor, what is the bare minimum, that we can do to make it so that it's a blank slate, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're not going to pick our own really nice paint color because probably these walls are going to get painted, or we're not going to do this, custom however we want it because the person's probably going to change it. So I was doing stuff like that and getting that done so then the house could get on the market. So
Yeah.
then we could put in a legit contingent offer up here and have it not just be like, well, when our house goes up for sale, then,
Yeah.
we'll have a time frame.
Yeah, we had a few things, and then even the septic tank.
I had to
We
replace
had
septic.
that was kind of a surprise
Ooh.
for us.
Yeah.
So, a few things here and there happened where we had to kind of.
because the
stay on our
septic
toes.
tank had to be done before the house could be closed on in Iowa.
Yeah.
So it was under contract, but they weren't like, oh yeah, just cut them a check. It was like, no, if your septic's not done, like,
it can't trade hands, like
Correct.
the title or the deed can't trade
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Nice to be on city sewer now.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, don't have to worry about a septic.
Did that
tank,
ruin my
so-
life? Not
Because that was like
It hurt your
day.
7,000. No, that was not 7,000. That was like way more, wasn't it?
It was like 25.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was like,
Dude.
hey, your offer got accepted for this. And I was like, nice. And then it was like, your septic cost this to replace. And I was like,
Not nice. Yeah.
yeah, that put a big dampener. I remember that because I was like, at that point, I'm doing the math. I'm like, oh, this size down payment on this size house in the
Yeah.
cities. Oh, this is going to be great. And then the dude pumps the septic and he's like, oh, yeah, it needs replaced. And I was like, all of it? He's like, yeah, you can't just replace one part. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that,
I mean, even then, we got a deal. So I
Yeah.
feel like it could have been a little more.
and that deal was weird because it was the people buying our house. It was her son.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had a construction company.
Wow.
So it was this weird, like, yeah, I'll take $5,000 off the house for your parents if you don't charge me $35,000 to do this septic
Dang.
deal.
Jeez.
Yeah, and that was the weird,
Yeah.
because I remember I was like, wait, your kid does septic and stuff? This is perfect. Let's just make all this into one little bundled package.
Yeah.
So when did the Cedar Rapids house close, and then how much longer after until the Como Park house closed?
Good.
Was
So
it the same week?
I feel like, was it like 2 weeks?
yeah, it was. I do remember it
Ish?
was
wasn't
pretty
bad.
close
Yeah.
because
It wasn't the same day though, right?
No.
Okay.
Right.
Because I remember I was trying to do that, like, hey, let's like do a double backflip and do this in like 24 hours. And Steven was like, that's not a good idea. Like,
Yeah.
Or just like it's not going to happen in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, we've had people who've done that, who have closed on the sale and then the purchase in the same day. It can be a little stressful, but, you know, it's with moving and everything, you know, like making sure everything's lined up, you know, not having to be displaced. I mean, that wouldn't have been the case for you guys because you were already out of the house at that point. But, yeah, it's a lot of moving pieces with doing that type of thing. But
it actually, no, it was close because now I'm remembering I switched banks from like a local credit union to US Bank, right? Because there's just more locations. And I took the check because I went down to Iowa for the closing, signed it, got the cashier's check, went to put it in the US Bank account, and they were like, oh, well, you're going to have to wait 30 days for it to clear because you haven't been.
Oh, because you're a new. Oh.
And I was just like, it's a cashier's check from a bank that's like right down the road. Call them.
Yeah.
So they call them, and because you know how big U.S. Bank's protocol and everything is, they're like, oh yeah, we can't override this. So I can't remember what I did to be like, oh no, I do remember. Yeah, I was like, oh, I got some cash sitting over here in an account. I'll just move that cash into my U.S. Bank. The proceeds from the house sale will have to sit, and then I'll just send it back to the other account once this all gets worked out. But that was like a mind boggle, because I was like, hey, we can walk to this bank and you can see that like it's legit.
Yeah.
Because that's because we were closing like the following week on the house that we got. And I was just like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, wow. That sounds like just like what do I do? You know, like you're just in this like, huh? Like.
Because I remember asking them, this is going to be super sketchy, but it was close enough, like I said, like 2 blocks from one bank to the next, that I was almost like, okay, so what if I go get cash?
a wheelbarrow full of
Yeah, and they were just like, what? And I was like, I will go back to this other bank, cash out this cashier's check, and bring you cash. And then I think I talked to the people that were doing our mortgage, and they were like, yeah, don't do that, because that amount of cash coming in this close to closing that's untraceable
It'll blow it up,
will look real sketch. And I was like, yeah, but I can explain it. And they're like, no,
I'll
like,
talk them into it.
yeah.
Yeah, you're like, well, then you call U.S. Bank.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Someone needs to explain, I need this check to clear.
Yeah, dang. So, okay, now you're here. You live in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Como Park.
Yeah.
What do you like the least?
Potholes.
Oh.
That's been crazy. We've just had ours like
Great
filled
answer.
up around our house, and so
Yeah. I'm gonna
smooth
run
sailing
for
right
mayor
now.
of the Twin
But
Cities on straight
they
up
get
potholes.
deep
That's
sometimes.
it, right?
Yeah. It's a
They get
season,
deep.
though. Have you noticed? I mean, I wonder, is your neighborhood better now than it was like two?
Pothole wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, there's like a sinkhole
Yeah,
in
yeah.
one part, but they covered it up with a piece of metal, so we're good.
Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sign over it. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
good.
Tin foil.
Yeah. Yeah, don't step on that.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that pothole season's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I've told this story, I think, on this podcast before, but not too long ago. I blew out 2 tires driving home from this studio. Yeah.
Two tires in one go on the same
one
pothole.
pothole.
No.
Yeah, it was.
That's a
I'm
rough day. That's a
still,
rough
day. The same
I'm
one,
still
too.
furious about it. Actually, months later, I'll think about it and
Oh my
just
god.
That might be the
really
winningest pothole of
Oh,
all.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come here, I got something to show you, Pop.
Did you like choose a different route now? Like or
No,
you're
well,
just
I
waiting?
actually, so I was going to file a claim to see if I could get them to pay for the, you know, the city to pay for the damages. And then like 2 days after I just drove by because it's super close to here and where I live, and to just take a picture of it in case they asked for that. It had already been filled in. So
Wow.
that,
Wow.
which I'm happy about because I still drive over it.
But now it's out of
filled-in part.
spite. Like,
Yeah, now. But yeah, no, that's a great answer because this year especially, that was my least favorite thing about living
Yeah.
here as well.
We had a lot of freeze and thaw and all that, and yeah, crazy. What is well? Are you glad you made the move?
Oh, 100%,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Good. What's your favorite part about living here?
just so much to do.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it is for me. It's just like, what do I want to do today? Let me Google it, or like look on Facebook. Oh, it's of course happening, and I'll go do it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of different hobbies, so I like farmers market, anything gardening. I like to go to little shops around town, coffee shops and everything, do stuff with the kids, and then we of course like to see some concerts, metal shows, all of that, and
Yeah.
anything else? What do you like to see?
Yeah, I would say like for me, it's been concerts,
Yeah.
nerd stuff. You know, Magic the Gathering is my jam. So yeah.
Found a small community of
Yeah.
people who share that
Dude,
interest with
that's
you.
blowing up for real. Like,
It could be anyone.
no, it is. It is everyone.
Yeah.
Like in the John Wick movies, when everyone's an assassin,
Yeah.
it's everyone plays MTG. Like
that.
my side story. One of my sisters, my youngest one, tried to roast me in front of this one guy she was dating at the time. She's like, "Oh yeah, my freaking brother's such a nerd. He plays Magic the Gathering." And he's like, "Oh, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "Oh, what do you? I got a sliver deck. Oh, blah blah blah." And she literally turns in and is just like, "Are you effing serious right now?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I do."
Complete backfire.
Yeah. He's like, "Yo, I'll show you," and like goes to his mom's, and she's just like angry because I'm like, "Hey, we're everywhere, you know.
We're everywhere.
We are everywhere. We are." So
Coming
like,
out
I
of
would
the
say like
woodworks.
that has been a fun thing to do because there's so many game shops and breweries, which didn't know that breweries were in on that game too until last
I
night.
didn't know that either.
Yeah, this guy gave us a flyer and was like, "Yeah, this brewery has Commander. This brewery has draft nights."
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, Aaron and I have a lot in common. We've become close friends, but I think that was the first thing where it was like,
And that was thanks to Leanne. That was actually a Leanne
Yeah, I
thing.
had a feeling that you were MTG. So
she
I
dropped
had
she
to
dropped the three
drop.
letters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the White Bear Lake House because it
Yeah.
had that.
yeah, I remember that. It had that sick, like, huge garage
Yeah.
hangout space.
Yeah.
And so she was like, "Oh, you could when everyone comes over for MTG." And I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Ears perked up.
Yeah.
And then Steven just did one of these. He was like, "MTG, what is? Tell me what do you run?" And I was like, "This is it. Here we are."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Has there been anything that's been particularly difficult to adapt to from, like, or differences between where you came and here?
For me, it was the school process, I guess. So small town, like Cedar Rapids, Marion area. It's just easy to get the kids into school. You just go to the school and have them get signed up. But
Just
here-
show up and be like, they're
Yeah,
gone.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
What's their
legitimately.
names? Yeah. But here you have to actually go to a building and apply, check out the area, see what's close to you, and all of that. And then there's also charter schools where you don't even have to go to that main building and apply and all that. So it was just kind of a process, trying to get the boys into the school that we wanted, and yeah.
Because I don't think you realize how convenient it is when they've been going to the same school. Because it's just like, oh yeah, this is where you're going.
I've gone to the rival school that they went to, so yeah, it was.
And it's based off your address. So it is pretty much everywhere, I'm assuming. But because they kind of already know we only have so many kids in the area. It's not this scramble where it's a whole bunch of new families moved into
Yeah.
Cedar Rapids and therefore we're gonna have a bunch more.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to say touring schools was kind of annoying to me, just because dude, it smells bad, and just I don't know, kids are great, but not hordes of them, you know.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was just okay, this is not my favorite thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to say that schooling was a little bit harder than I was hoping it would be.
There's this one kid that we were just walking past, and what did he say?
Dude, the
He
level of
called him a
disrespect.
boy.
He called me a boy.
Oh.
But he yelled it at me.
Yeah.
I literally just have just a nice,
think that's what kinda-
straight face going on, observing. Oh, this is the lunchroom. This is arts. And then the lady's like, and this is our music, room. And he just, I don't know you, boy. And I was just like,
He's like, what's your name, boy?
I don't know you either. Like,
Yeah.
what? And of
Yeah.
course, like, you can't really go at a kid.
No,
So I
definitely not.
I just go like this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leanne and I walk down the hall, and I'm like, next school, please.
Like, maybe
Yeah.
not this one. Yeah.
Next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy. Is there anything you miss about where you were?
I mean,
Our friends and some family, yeah.
well, other than that, no. I mean, because, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just the CR.
Yeah.
It's a place.
That's fair.
Like,
That's
yeah.
good. I mean, that's good to hear.
You work there, you do some fun things, and then you travel to the other places to have fun, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to say, yeah, it's mostly just friends, really. But I mean, we see them enough that it's not like, I haven't seen you in 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Still relatively close.
yeah.
For sure. Is there anything about living in Minnesota that surprised you, or like something you weren't expecting?
Pothole.
Yeah.
Yeah, potholes, I was
How
not
bad they can be.
expecting.
There's nice little pockets of community, like whatever your interest is or anything,
Yeah, for
really.
sure.
So you can always find some sort of community.
I think for me, like, because there's so many different types of people here, it's kind of crazy to see, like, the different, like, sports. And then, like, ones you don't even know exist, and then you're like, oh, wait, that's a thing. Like, the
Gosh,
you
I
read in
wish
that
I
paper,
remembered.
and you didn't tell me what the sport
We
was,
have like
but
a
it's like,
local newspaper.
because it was,
and
I think it was like the Hmong people play it. It's like pickleball with like kicking the ball.
it's like a
Oh,
mixture
wow.
of pickleball and
Like
like
soccer.
volleyball and soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
like down in Frogtown, that place we always drive by on my way to my
like
mom's.
a community center.
It's a community center, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, there's grass pickleball courts because it's like the same dimensions, same height as the net. Well, I was driving by there the other day, and there's some Hmong people out there, and they were playing that game, and I was like, dude, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Just
Yeah.
like kicking a ball like Chuck Norris across the freaking net. And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
that's sick. That's definitely cool. So I would say that is it is fun to experience new things.
I
And
don't think they can even use their hands.
it
Either.
didn't look like they were using their hands.
Only their feet or their like chest or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
was,
pretty cool.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, you guys are serious, because they were close range kicking this ball. Like, I was just like, dang, okay, I would have backed up a little bit, but whatever. And
And
I,
then ultimate frisbee, like we never really had that. Like there weren't any games around in
Yeah.
Cedar Rapids.
and there's the Minnesota Wind Show, which is the ultimate frisbee team
Yeah.
for. So yeah, like and that was just another thing that just popped up on the Instagram algorithm, and I was like, let's go check it out.
That's
You know,
cool.
10-minute drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that.
Feather bowling.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know
at
about
Prize.
this.
Oh yeah, right.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Did not know about that either. So yeah, and that I was like so shocked you could just they had a whole like court out at a brewery.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Like I've never
It
you
takes
just
up a
don't
lot
see
of
that.
space, but yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also never heard about that before or really since.
You're like, it's that one spot that has
Yeah.
feather bowling.
That's
like,
Wow.
true. I couldn't tell you if you like another place to go to do that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And there might be one.
And I've never met
One.
someone where I've either said the word feather bowling or described it and they knew what I was talking about.
Really?
So
That's funny. They're like, wait, is it like bowling with a light ball? Or-
it's like a cheese wheel.
Yeah.
Roll it, like whatever, 30 yards to
On like
try
a-
to get close to a feather.
On like a fake grass lane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
on like
got-
it's like
Yep.
got curved edges. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out, listeners.
Yeah. No, it's definitely.
At Prize.
Yeah, at price
Pretty much
only.
only. Yeah.
Don't try to Google it.
They're like, I couldn't find it, but I found some other stuff.
Yeah.
I think for me too, like, I've really enjoyed the fact because big sports head, so having pro teams to go to, not. I've only got one local team, which is the Wild, because I had to commit to something local and suffer with everyone else.
Yeah.
Right? So that was my commitment to the state of Minnesota. But other than that, yeah,
It's a good one. I mean, good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
it was a great time. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't care about hockey, if you don't whatever, because I really didn't, And then you go to a wild game, and it's just like, this issue is different. Like they
I
care.
think it's the best atmosphere
Yeah.
for any Minnesota pro sports team.
Some
I
of
mean,
my-
Vikings, it gets pretty lit at the U.S. Bank Stadium, but I think Excel is
It's a 6 stadium, but yeah.
totally.
Yeah. There's a different level of intensity.
Yeah, it's like,
Perhaps.
I mean, when you call yourself the state of hockey, if you can't like get a place rowdy for an NHL game,
Yeah.
you might want to think about changing that.
No
you know?
doubt.
Yeah.
That'd be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the
It's
state
it's like a T-Wolves game where it's like half full and
Yeah.
no one's really interested. That'd be rough.
We have a
Hey.
thought experiment. Okay, you have 2 choices. One is you take your current home, the structure, the 4 walls, the roof, whatever, but you could put it on your a dream lot within the Twin Cities. So
Okay.
you could move the house itself to your favorite place, whatever, favorite lot in the Twin Cities.
On water,
Okay.
whatever, the coolest place that you've seen or been to since you've been here.
Or you can put your dream house on your current lot. Like the sickest house you can think of on your current lot. What do you do?
Leanne?
I would just move the house. Yeah, different. Are you opposite?
Do you have a lot in mind, like a place?
First thing, Summit, of course.
Oh, sure.
I don't know. I just really
Yeah.
like that area.
Especially like on the overlook area.
Yeah, definitely. And then what's the area by Hunt and Gather? That area is
Linden Hills
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Fulton neighborhood, Southwest in general.
Yeah.
Or
I like-
50th in France, but yeah.
I like that area too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say the mind link is strong, because I would also do the same
Really?
thing.
I thought
Yeah.
you were gonna say something completely different.
No, because like our lot's not bad, but like my dream house is gonna be bigger than our current one,
Yeah.
and so then like
I
we're
was like,
gonna
how would we maneuver
Yeah, you have a
around?
pretty standard city size, like 1/10 of an acre city lot.
yeah. So it'd be like
So-
going from like no yard to really
a
no yard.
substantial amount. would
Yeah,
be,
so
yeah.
it'd be relocate the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Right
to
on.
know. I guess, yeah. You sort of answered already. If you move anywhere within the Twin Cities, or if you could, sort of dream house, dream lot situation, where would it be?
Probably I want to say Summit area.
Yeah.
Just because it's cool, because it's like it's just old school St. Paul, right? And there's just a lot of just giant old houses, I guess, that
Yeah.
are super cool. That it's like, oh, they aren't run down,
No.
you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just like,
Gosh, we should
Damn.
probably check out more Minneapolis then. I feel like we've like married St. Paul by now. And
Yeah.
We're done.
I mean,
gonna-
Summit is a unique spot. There's not a place like it in Minneapolis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's there are places that are awesome in Minneapolis, but nothing really quite like that. It's a unique proposition of a place. It's very cool.
What about you guys? Like, where would you?
or would you, to reverse the question, you moving your house or you
Yeah.
building your dream house?
I think I would put my house on like a dream lot. I really like my house. I don't know. I live in a cool lot though, a pretty cool lot, but it could be a lot cooler, like lakefront. Even if I could just move my house like 3 blocks over to where it'd be on Lake of the Isles
Yeah.
or something.
For sure.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I've thought a lot about this actually because we ask this question every time now. I still think I would keep my lot. Not that it's like spectacular by any means, but I just think the things that I like value, the things that I care more about, I think would be like having the sickest house I could think of that would like fit in that space. And I really love Northeast, so staying in Northeast, check. Sickest house I can imagine, check. Seems
What does
pretty
the
good.
sickest house entail?
Man, that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah. For me, there's like 6 different answers.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
and they're different. Like they're very unique from each other.
for sure. Yeah, big fan of mid-century, like authentic mid-century, but also just kind of like I just like new stuff too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like so, like there would be
That house that you drove to
that
in
was
Edina?
not mid-century, but that
Yeah.
was like
No,
that was
yeah.
as close to dream house as I've been in.
We did a
Like
video
super
of
modern.
this a home by City Homes. They have like an A-frame style house that
Okay.
they've done that is like pretty close to my dream home aesthetic
Yeah.
for a new build.
Right.
Because they also like, yeah, some mansion on Summit would be super sick too. Some super old place. But yeah, this house is wild.
It's an A-frame?
Well, the one that we looked at isn't, but
Yeah.
they
Okay.
do have one that has like this. It's not a full A-frame, but it's close, where
That's
the
awesome.
really steep, peaked roof and
I took some
Yeah.
videos on my phone. I'll show you. But any listener who's interested, the video will be on YouTube shortly,
yeah,
I'm guessing.
yeah, we'll have the video out pretty soon. But it's a crazy house. I can almost hardly, yeah, the whole back wall had like.
That was the best part.
Oh, so sick, dude. You walk into the front door. The back wall is it's all like windows,
Okay.
but then it's actually like accordion style doors. So like you can like open up the whole back wall, and there's like 3 different, and then there's huge screens that slide close, so you can like just have.
The dining room was almost like this size space, and imagine like from that window to that window, and that you could open up the entire thing. So you'd be like, it's
that's
like
cool.
eating al fresco, like
Yeah.
Italy. But yeah, there's like a screen that too, so like you don't have to really worry about bugs or whatever else. But
Yeah,
yeah, it
That
was
is
so
pretty
cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
awesome.
crazy house, but and they're like. Their attention to detail in the houses they make are like it's pretty wild.
Yeah, of course, like the highest quality finishes I've really ever seen in a new build, and just like little touches too that
Yeah.
also like you just don't really see very often.
That primary bathroom.
Mhm.
Yeah, just like yeah. Paul said it was like his favorite shower he's ever seen. It looked like it'd be at like a crazy hotel, like a hotel that like for billionaires. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, that's fun though. Okay, I think that's it for that, right?
I think so. I feel
Okay.
pretty good.
So now we have a game
Little game.
Oh boy.
called How Minnesotan Are
Oh,
You?
dude, I almost punched myself in the face the other day at work because they crept up on me. I was talking to somebody and I said it was like really humid out, and I said I'm soaking, but I was like I'm soaking, and I literally almost was like. I was like, I looked at my freaking calendar. I was like, cool, I made it a year and 5 months.
Yeah, that's
And
that's not long at all.
No, and
yeah.
the guy was like, yeah, I hear you. And I was just like, no, I don't think you do hear me.
Yeah.
Because I just butchered a word the way you guys
So
did.
Speaking of that, do you have the things? I
yeah,
think
you want
maybe
to
we
start
with
there?
that.
Sure. That's a great segue. We've got some words here that I'm gonna ask politely if you pronounce for me. Leanne, you can go first.
Bag.
Also
I
bag.
had too much time to think about it.
Yeah, and I'm really like,
maybe we just
we gotta
hold it up.
flash it. Okay. Good,
Yeah.
good
what's
call.
the
Okay.
phonetic way of saying
Leanne
that?
first, then Aaron.
Golden Gopher hockey.
You were pretty Minnesotan on that one.
Yeah.
Golden Gopher hockey.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. And just one more.
Acapulco.
Yeah, Acapulco.
Okay.
Okay, can you pronounce it?
Well, yeah, I think the correct pronunciation of that is Acapulco, with kind of an ugh sound. Acapulco, but most Minnesotans would probably say Acapulco.
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 That's not, I was just looking at it like, dude, I've not come across this word talking to anyone from Minnesota, so I'm nervous. Like,
There's like a Mexican
mind.
restaurant in northern
There's
Minnesota.
a chain, yeah, Mexican restaurants called Acapulco. But yeah.
But if people live up there, they'll be like, "Oh, going to Acapulco," and it's like OCO POCO or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
and you're like, no, you're not. That's not where you're
Yeah.
going.
Like, excuse me. Yeah. Okay. Have you been to the state fair?
Yeah.
Have you been multiple times in one season?
No. And actually, Leanne said that she will not go this year.
Gotta
so
space
I'm
it out.
gonna, if I have to, I'll go by myself.
Oh, dude, hit me up. I'll go with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steve will go for sure.
Because I didn't get enough of the fair food that I wanted to get. You know, it was like, I want my
You never
bucket of
do.
cookies, I want my cheese curds, I want this, and I just didn't get it all done.
Well, I think our plan is to go with kids and then have like a date night.
Yeah.
Because last time we went, it was with kids,
Bro.
and we had like a surprise throw up in the Monarch.
No,
like,
no.
You know.
The Monarch thing
So-
was the craziest thing in the history of my freaking life. Small tangent.
It
but
is crazy.
Oh,
No, it's not.
hot.
It's butterflies.
Yeah.
It's kids in there that it's crazy. Because one of the boys, the younger one, it was Bane, wasn't it? He wanted to go in so bad. One of them wanted to go in so bad. We get in there and they just turned into a statue in the corner.
He was like
afraid
terrified for a
like
while. He didn't want to
screaming.
move.
I'm like, bro, you saw them from the outside. You begged to come in here, and now you're screaming like a lunatic. Well, every other 7-year-old has 50 butterflies on them, so clearly they're not a threat. And then Aiden's
There's
like,
always a kid like that in there, though. I
yeah,
feel
but
like.
come on, like you wanted to go, like you were like,
I
yeah,
feel like
let's.
there was a handful.
That has changed my life.
And
Because
then
then,
Aiden's like a surprise thrower.
Yeah.
Upper. Like you never know.
He
Like
doesn't-
he doesn't know when
Yeah.
he's going too early.
oh, he
so.
knows. He's
You think
just,
so?
How do you not know?
I don't
Like it sneaks up on
know.
you. Like it doesn't like make its way up slowly. It just
You don't recognize the cues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. He
That's-
doesn't
that's a good
recognize
way
it.
of putting
I'll give
it.
him
Yeah.
that.
It doesn't register as, oh, this is what this is.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say you kind of get a taste in your
So
mouth,
that
and you're
was
like, I'm gonna throw up
fun. I
now.
was like, yeah, we'll skip a year on this one. And
Yeah, because
That's fair.
I'm ushering a screaming kid out of there, past all of the butterflies he wanted to see, and then Aiden's at the entrance throwing up in a trash can as people are coming in to look at butterflies. So it was just like,
Yeah.
welcome to the Monarch experience, and just like strawberry smoothie being thrown up as you're paying.
You had
for
some
the
like
exam.
teenagers that like didn't know what to do, and you're like, "Can I just have the trash
Yeah.
can, please? I'll give it back when we're done. I'll take the bag." You know.
Yeah.
So, that
what a
was
place to do it.
Yeah.
In the Monarch place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because you're kind of in there, like,
Yeah,
you
you're
can't
kinda
just
trapped
get-
a little
yeah,
bit.
you can't just get out. They like make you spin so the butterflies aren't on you. They
Yeah.
check in your coat pockets. Yeah, so it's not like I'm just gonna run out of here.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the state fairgrounds for anything other than the state fair?
Yeah, I have.
What'd you go for?
There was like a vintage and collectibles
Oh.
flea market swap meet thing.
Yep.
Don't they have roller derby there too? I think.
Maybe.
I wanted to
That
check
I don't
that
know.
out.
I've been to a comic book convention there, and car shows and stuff like that.
Car shows.
Nice.
Never been to a comic book convention there. Went to Comic Con at the
Convention center.
Convention center.
in Minneapolis. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's a fun time.
Have you ever had a hot dish?
no.
Okay. Have you
At
been
the
to Brainerd?
convention center?
No,
No, no,
Oh,
no,
just
no.
in general. I was like,
No.
whoa.
No, hot
this
dish
hot
is
dish? I
the
need to-
Minnesota freaking.
Like a casserole? Like a hot
Well,
casserole?
no.
like a casserole.
It is
but
like a casserole, yes, but
if you're not calling it a hot dish while you're eating it,
the
it's
fact
not
that
a
you
hot
asked that
we
question
need to get a
lets
hot
me know
dish. Yeah.
that you're not.
Dang it.
dish. Yeah.
I'm gonna lob a softball to Aaron here. How many different professional sporting events have you attended in Minnesota?
All of them?
Would you
Had to
say
get in-
it's more than
emphasize it.
5? Because there's only 4.
Yeah. No.
Well, the-
no. You're gonna say the wind chill aren't professional?
No, I'm counting that.
Okay, so I've been Minnesota wind
That's
chill,
legit.
Twins,
Yep.
Wild,
Yep.
Vikings, Wolves.
United?
I mean, United,
Oh yeah, and Minnesota United.
Lynx.
6. No.
Oh, our
And they're the
greatest,
only
our
winner in
greatest
the cities.
champions. You haven't
And the
checked
only
out?
winners in the
The
cities,
winningest, yeah.
Dang, dude.
I do have to make it out to a Lynx game eventually, because I do want to sit courtside.
I was gonna say we could sit on the floor.
Yeah,
That's fair.
like yeah, I completely forgot about the Lynx. Yeah, so that's the only one I think I have to check off my list, because St. Paul Saints aren't technically professional. They're like a
True.
feeder team.
I could. Yeah. Have you been to a Gopher game?
No,
TCF?
no. I've been to TCF Bank when the Vikings were playing there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You've checked a lot of boxes, so yeah,
Yeah.
nice, good work.
Have you been up north?
Yes.
Yes.
I would
Generally up north?
Yeah, okay. I was
Okay.
gonna say like
Yes.
I would say Duluth's pretty north, but you can still go a couple hours north of that.
I'd say Duluth qualifies as up north.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for
Because
the
we've
most
been to
part.
the Split Rock Lighthouse. I want to say that's
That's
like
up
the
north.
farthest north we've been.
That qualifies for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever cursed at a pothole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
I think it's been worse here than Iowa. So yeah.
Well, yeah, and
definitely.
then not to discourage anyone from moving to the Twin Cities, but like, dude, the freaking snow plowing situation on our street was bad. Like it was like, because freeze thaw, so it would just be like, not they weren't even potholes, they were like ice potholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, this straight sucks.
Have you ever had a salad with no greens or potatoes in it?
Talking about pasta salad?
I guess that doesn't really count.
Tuna salad? Like
Yeah.
not even tuna salad, but yeah, tuna noodle salad.
Yeah, if you're saying pasta salad, no. Is that a Minnesota thing
Have
too?
you ever had a salad with chocolate in it?
Oh, God.
That's a way better way to ask it.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I got a follow up to that one actually. What's your favorite part of the salad bar at a supper club? Cottage cheese, canned mandarin oranges, or olives?
What kind of olives? Green or?
I'm saying green with pimento.
It's probably olives.
100%.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
probably olives followed by cottage cheese, and a distant third is the mandarin oranges.
Okay.
That's wild.
Have you ever been to a meat raffle?
No, and I didn't know what that was until someone tried to sell me a ticket from one at a bar with my
You're like,
mom.
are you scamming me right now?
Well, I was just like, this is weird. They're like, you want to be in the meat raffle? And I was like, what?
Did Joan get one?
No, my mom's
did?
vegetarian.
Oh, okay.
That'd be a weird
I
flex.
didn't know.
She
She just
should've.
like just because.
She should have. She should have done the meat raffle and then just
It's for
been
charity.
like, I don't even need it. Give it to someone that
Yeah.
needs it.
You.
True. Yeah, I didn't know what a meat raffle was until that moment. And then I didn't know that it was like a thing to be proud of too. This lady I work with, she was telling me about her meat raffle winnings over the weekend.
I need to ask my coworkers about all
Yeah,
of
she was
this.
an older lady, and she was like, "Yeah, I won, 4 ribeye steaks at the meat raffle." And I was like, "Or you could have gone to the grocery store."
Yeah.
Okay. Follow up on that one. Have you ever gambled on the tri wheel at a bar?
No, I've never gone to a casino.
You don't have to.
Oh yeah,
You can go to Stanley's in Northeast.
Gambling's weird here. I forgot because in Iowa we can buy our liquor anywhere, and we can gamble, and you guys can't do either one. I forgot about that.
Yeah, weird, strange limitations that
Yeah.
don't really make that much sense. Have you ever played pull tabs? Okay.
No.
I'm feeling really bad right now. About
Yeah,
okay.
I'm
all
feeling
of
very,
this.
I'm feeling very
Wow.
fraudulent whenever
So
I go
incomplete.
outside the house now.
No one at all.
You look around all
Yeah.
suspect.
They
All
can
right.
know I'm not from here.
This one. Okay. Do you know Prince's full name?
No.
Dude,
Oh,
I don't.
It's a
You
shameful
don't?
No,
moment.
and I went to
Okay.
a school where a bunch of people were like worked with Prince.
Oh, at what was that? the
IPR.
IPR.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What
check,
is it?
Check it out. Prince Rogers Nelson.
Oh, so Prince was actually part. Didn't he change his name to?
Well, he changed his name to the artist formerly known as Prince.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. I remember that being referenced in a song, and I was like, oh, cool, Prince changed it up. No, the only artist that, Bob Dylan, right? Is
That's one.
Oh,
he's
there's
a-
more.
he's
There's
Duluth-
way
he's
more.
Duluth, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
we're just talking Twin Cities.
Or Minnesota in general.
Yeah. Okay. On that note, can you name one other semisonic song other than "Closing Time"?
No.
Yeah.
I can't
No.
either.
You can.
I don't know if I can. Can you?
Singing in my sleep. I can hear you singing to me in my. Okay.
Are they from here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
So is Marcy Playground. Sex and Candy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that song.
Yeah. So is Runaway Train. Soul Asylum.
yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only local band that I know is After the Burial.
Fair.
And then Young Gravy, he's a rapper. He's
Oh,
from
yeah.
Rochester.
Right on. Okay. Will you rank these 5 people 1 to 5? Number 1 being most Minnesotan.
Okay.
Paul Bunyan, Jesse Ventura, Marge Gunderson from the movie Fargo, Joe Mauer. Speaking of names, Joe Mauer.
Yeah.
And the aforementioned Prince. 1 to 5, 1 being the most Minnesotan.
Steve has surprised me with these questions.
No, I got some. I'm gonna let you run though.
I don't know. It's a tie for me between Paul Bunyan and Prince.
For 1.
Yeah. And then the rest can just fall after that.
Yeah, they could kind of just be like a spin on and pick kind of deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question about Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
The Wisconsin Dells reps him hard, right? Is that a
Yes.
fraudulent claim by them?
It's a good question.
I think
Because that would affect my 1 through 5 in a way, right? Like,
this may be a hot take, but I think that's like when your brother does karate
okay.
and you're like, my brother does karate.
okay, fair. Yeah, I would.
It's not you, but it still means something.
So yeah, 1 and 2 for me would probably be Prince and Paul Bunyan. Jesse Ventura's got to be in there somewhere in a weird spot because of what that dude is.
Yeah.
He's just weird, and every time I see him now doing anything in public, it brings me joy. Because I'm just like, dog, you crawled out from under a rock again. This is
Yeah.
awesome. Good to see you. I don't really care about baseball, so Joe Mauer would be like 5th. And then Fargo never.
What about car
seen it.
dealerships, though? Doesn't he own car dealerships?
Mauer?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. He at least repped car dealerships real hard. But
All right, so yeah, I got it. It's Paul Bunyan #1, Prince 2, and Jesse Ventura 3. Never seen Fargo, so 4, and then Joe Mauer. And 4 and 5 are interchangeable to me.
Okay.
That's
All right.
fair. You know what a biff is or a biffy?
I always say like, oh, they biffed it. But
Okay.
Was that
I
like?
was gonna be like, I know what boof is.
Okay, a biff is like a porta potty or a biffy.
Okay, cool. I don't have to be scared when someone's like,
Biffy.
yeah, I'm gonna go to Biff. Go to the Biff here. I'll be like, the what?
Yeah. Yeah, you might hear somebody being like, "There biff around here," and you'd be like,
I'll just be like,
That's funny.
nah, I'm good. Thanks.
"Yeah, no, thank you."
Or go ahead.
No,
sorry.
yeah, I
I'll
think-
go. Okay, do you know how to make a Midwest martini?
Oh gosh.
Does that involve Coors Light? Is it a Coors Light? I feel like you have referenced a Midwest martini at some point, so
Like
I
an
have
olive?
experienced it and was just like, this is a thing.
Is this like a McGolden with olives or something like
Yeah.
that? Actually, is.
It's a light beer with olives.
Okay.
in it.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I've never heard it called that, but I love that. I was a
Wow.
bartender, and people would get that all the time. They'd be like, "Give me 12 olives." I'm like, "Dude, bring your own olives."
Did you ask if you're like, does this look like a grocery store?
yeah. Seriously. What? Have you ever given somebody a buck that has nothing to do with money? If I said, "Can you give me a buck to the store?" Do you have any idea what that means?
No.
Okay. I
I'm
think
like-
this might be a generational thing too, but it's like giving a ride on, like having somebody hop on your pegs of
Oh, that's called a
a
buck?
bicycle. Yeah, we'll give you. A
And
buck.
here it is in Minnesota. It
Yeah.
is.
Growing up, it
Interesting.
was.
You
Yeah.
strike me as a dude who had pegs on his bike at
Oh,
one
I
point in
did.
your
Yeah,
life.
100%. I had a very short BMX career.
Yeah.
It involved me with a
I feel
bike
like
with
every
pegs.
90s kid had a.
Yeah, we did a video in our
Dude.
hometown in Apple Valley. And we were walking in a park where there was constant BMX biking.
Yeah, Keller. Yeah. I mean, rolling around on a BMX bike with a pager in my carpenter jean pocket.
Oh, that's cool.
Couldn't
Yeah.
tell me nothing.
The sickest thing I've ever heard. I've got one more. In the 1984 presidential election, how many states did Democratic candidate Walter Mondale win?
Dude, I feel like this is turning into a real low rent Jeopardy.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm over here
I
like
need some options.
4.
What do you think, Leanne?
No idea. No idea.
Can I take a guess?
Sure.
1.
Yes.
Minnesota.
Correct.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Was he
Yeah.
from here?
Yeah.
That's how you know you rep hard, right?
Dude,
Yeah.
Ronald
Yeah.
Reagan won 49 states in 1984, and the only one he didn't win was Minnesota.
Hey, at least
because
you
Walter
rep.
Mondale
You know what
was
I'm saying?
one of
That's
His
great.
people showed
Can you
up.
imagine that though? The way I mean, for 49 states to
No.
vote for,
And to be able to make it to being a presidential candidate and for that
Yeah.
to happen, wow.
It's like,
That's a blowout. Yeah.
how was your caucus? Was it just like, all right, Minnesota, they will vote with their guy, send him.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can drag some more states with him.
He's real strong in Minnesota.
Oh my God.
Well, legit, yeah.
Have you ever hit a deer?
No.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a pretty Iowan thing to happen too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
have you ever caught a walleye or a crappie?
Yeah.
I don't have the patience for fishing.
Same.
It doesn't. It's a thing that does not make sense to me. Like they're like, yeah, it's really tests your patience. That's about the only thing that fishing. Well, my boss did tell me that fishing is more about drinking than it is about fishing.
Just
I
hanging
think
But
for
then
out.
most people,
He related that to everything, so I think he's an alcoholic.
Ah,
Yeah.
He was like,
Driving's really more about drinking.
Yeah. I'm saying. He was like, you golf? I'm like, no. He's like, well, it's not about golfing. I'm like, what's it about? Drinking. And I was like, right. Well, that was your answer for the last 4 things that sounded really boring to do.
Yeah. Okay. Have you jumped in a frozen lake?
No,
Have you driven on a frozen lake?
no.
Yeah.
It's thrilling.
No.
Maybe you did. I wasn't along for the ride. I don't know. When did you drive on a frozen
No, we
lake?
didn't. We've watched a
walked-
lot of it. Watched.
Okay.
Have we walked?
Have you walked on a frozen lake?
Probably. I mean, I guess we can put that on the list
We've
for this
walked.
year.
We haven't driven.
Yeah.
That'll be next.
Yeah.
That'll be an adventure.
Just make sure there's other cars out there.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Do that in
We'll do that
yeah,
first.
January.
It'll be like
sure.
a
Yeah.
recap 6 months from now, and I'll be like, so we're down a car, but we did want to drive on
Yeah.
ice, and it didn't.
We drove into a lake. Okay. You feel good?
I'm good.
Okay.
What do you think? I would say 3 out of 5, you betches.
3 out of 5. Yeah. Probably right around 3 out of 5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Pretty good. They've only been here for a year.
That's true.
Oh, you're
And
talking about how
I feel
Minnesota?
like we have so
Yeah.
much to
Yeah,
experience
you
and
just
learn
gotta-
still.
I do
fine.
think by default, because you're from Iowa, you already like have like a base that is
Yeah.
Midwestern,
Yeah.
which is somewhat Minnesotan. you
Yeah,
know?
southern Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are, it's weird because the states border each other, but there's a lot of things that up here like you guys don't do that
Yeah.
I've just attributed to it's a southern thing.
Yeah.
And then people ask me where I'm from, and I go Iowa, and they're just like, "Dude, what?" I'm like, "Well, clearly you've never heard of it." Like crawdad hole, you get a line, I'll get a pole. We'll go fishing in a crawdad hole. It's a child's song. No one had heard it except for once again the meat raffle lady at my work, who's
Whoa.
she's elderly. And so I was just like, dude, that must be a southern thing. Like you guys, no one in my age group had heard.
What do you say crawfish or
I say crawfish.
okay.
Say
Yeah.
crawdad.
You say crawdad?
Yeah.
And where are we from?
Crawdad.
Crayfish.
Southern.
Yeah, crayfish, actually.
Crayfish, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's-
I grew up catching crayfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot.
What's the
This-
highest you betcha you've gotten?
Well, we just started
This
doing
is the first
this.
time we've used the You Betcha.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
we're
cool.
we're trying to come
Scale.
up with a good way to assign
I think-
value.
Recently, you've been at all of these. Somebody got an 8 out of 10 before we were doing fives.
Oh, we can switch it up. That was I just wanted to see
I
if I
don't
could get
hate
a
it.
smile out of you.
No, I like that a lot.
That's crazy. And how long have they been here?
I can't remember who it was. Somebody got an 8 out of 10. Was it the last one with Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They had lived in Grand Rapids for like 8 years.
Mm.
Well, then
That's up north. Yeah, it's like you get a. Yeah, they were
probably
like
think-
they were like we did 7 years up north. You know, like it was
Yeah.
like they did time.
I was
you
gonna
know?
say, they came down here and they're like, "You guys are lightweight."
Yeah,
Like,
oh,
what is
it's pretty easy going around here. Yeah. No, that's fun though.
Were they questioning how Minnesota you are? They're like, "Have you ever fought a bear?"
Yeah.
Like, things like that. And you're like,
Yeah.
"No, I actually haven't."
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, they were pretty, and he got really into because there's not much to do there, so he got really into fishing and
Okay.
hunting and four-wheeling and snowmobiling and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah. There's some terms. Duck, duck.
Goose.
Goose.
Okay, it's gray duck here. I'm sure you've heard that.
Grey duck.
Duck, duck, gray duck. You've never heard that?
I just think that's an attempt to try and be special.
The boys talked about that at school. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because
I
they,
don't know.
yeah.
Maybe they should have been asked how Minnesotan they are. They've probably been like nailed everything, and then you'd be like, "Oh, there it is."
Give them one more year. We'll come back and do this again.
Wait till you come home one day, and they're like, "We're having hot dish." And I'm
Yeah.
just like, yeah, we are.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's good. Pretty good.
Yeah,
I think you can. You know,
totally.
there's more. I'm probably only a 4 out of 5, even though I grew up here.
I would say so.
Maybe 4.5.
Yeah, I'm. A lot of these my dad owned a ice fishing lure company when I was a kid, so that's my stamp of approval.
Yeah. You just supplied the masses with their fishing and stuff.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm just trying to fight it because it's just that slow, slippery. I'm
Slippery
here.
slope.
Yeah, the bath water's warm. Like I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
I'm ready
indulge
for
with
it. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm nervous now. Now that you've figured
There's
out
no
that hot
going
dish
back.
is a thing, I'm gonna be like, I would
We're
like
already
to have,
on noodle dish, so I feel like
Yeah.
we're kind of there.
Oh,
That's
I
probably
mean-
like,
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
say you could up your game to a hot dish.
okay, I'll look it
Yeah.
up.
Tater tots on there.
Oh, that's all you
it's
had to say.
Snickers salad. That's a thing, by the way.
We love Snicker salad.
Oh,
You know what's weird?
Oh, yeah, with some apples in there. and-
Yeah, I think I've had that before. Because they're
That's
chopped up
good.
right.
Yeah, we gotta adjust that question a little.
'Cause that's
bit.
a salad
I
with
like
chocolate
a salad
in
with
it.
chocolate. That's
Yeah.
That's a really
no, I
fun
know
one.
the Snickers salad.
Shoulda known.
Because it's
Okay.
garbage. Uh-oh.
It's so
wow.
good.
Wow, the look from all three was great. Like I should.
You don't like Snickers, though.
I've come around.
That's the
they serve a
problem.
purpose. They're a
Fair.
hearty,
Yeah.
they're a hearty candy bar, but other than that, like they're not that great. They're not.
that's fair.
I'm a Reese's guy.
That doesn't make sense. They're a hearty candy bar. Like hearty,
Like they'll fill
It's
you
the
up.
best.
Like they serve a purpose.
they fill your soul,
No,
right?
No, they don't.
We've officially gone off the rails. Thank you for
Okay.
watching.
Let's wrap this up. Thanks so much for joining us,
Yeah.
you guys,
Thank you.
We'll
and
continue
working
this
with
another
us,
time.
and hanging out with us.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.